From WCCO4 News, this is Stormwatch Special Report.
And good morning, I'm meteorologist Mike Augustinek in the WCCO TV Weather Center at 11:03. Here's our latest update on our inbound winter storm, which has already happened or is happening across parts of western Minnesota. However, here in downtown Minneapolis, you can see we are still dry. 34 degrees right now. In fact, it's quite mild with a pretty strong southeast wind at 22, gusting to 31. That is a key player in our forecast for the next few hours. I'll explain how coming up, but I do want to encourage you, if you want to submit questions that we'll answer at the end of this Facebook Live, you can do it right now by leaving them in the comments. So what's going on right now is that strong easterly wind is doing a really good job at keeping the moisture at bay. It's moving eastward a little more slowly than we had initially thought, by an hour or two. And in fact, you can see as we take a look at a different webcam over downtown Minneapolis, a little bit of sun actually getting through that cloud deck right now. I still expect the storm, and I still expect this storm to be in and out pretty quickly. Most of the snow expected to accumulate in just about 12 hours time. And during a 2 or 3 hour period, for many of us, we will experience some very heavy snowfall rates, maybe an inch or two per hour for a couple of hours. And the hit time for that here in the Twin Cities metro is during the evening, late afternoon and early evening. We're also going to have 2 rounds of winds with this storm. The first is happening right now, 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts this afternoon and early this evening, and then again on Sunday, and that will cause some drifting of the snow, particularly in open areas. Now, there are no blizzard warnings or watches out because this snow will be a heavier, wetter consistency and overall a little harder to blow around than what came in a couple of weekends ago. However, there still will be travel problems because of blowing snow, again, especially coming up later on tonight. Here's the storm right now. This is mostly a rainmaker, except from the line with Iowa on north, we have just enough cold air locked in at low levels that we are seeing that rain transition to some freezing rain and some snow. And so that's mostly what we have to look forward to here across Minnesota and Wisconsin. In fact, it's been all snow in northwestern Minnesota and west central Minnesota all morning long, snowing lightly right now in Bemidji, but this little area of orange you see just south of Monoman and some of these deeper purples down through Detroit Lakes, that's snowfall rates that are close to or over an inch per hour. It's a similar thing out in west central Minnesota around Marshall, and then we get into this messy mix. Pink and purple showing you areas of sleet and freezing rain, and this orange is showing you a transition zone from that wintry mix to snow. So we have pretty much everything going on right now from the Minnesota River Valley in southwestern Minnesota down toward I-90, and these are areas that still for the next couple of hours could have some very slick travel on untreated surfaces and secondary roads because of a buildup of some freezing rain from earlier this morning. Let me walk you through the slightly updated timing with this storm for the rest of the afternoon into the evening. Again, now it's mostly a storm for western Minnesota. However, as we head toward 2 or 3 o'clock, that precipitation shield will advance to about the I-94 corridor and break out across the Twin Cities. Still a chance that for the first hour or hour and a half, we'll have a little bit of rain or sleet or freezing rain mixing in with the snow, and a better chance for that the farther south and east you go outside of the Twin Cities. But very quickly, as we head through the late afternoon into the evening, that little layer of warm air will get erased and we'll go over to all snow. And at this point, 5 and 6 o'clock, particularly through the heart of the Twin Cities metro, across the border into Wisconsin and down into southeastern Minnesota, along with parts of northwestern Minnesota, these deep purple areas showing you where that 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rate will be possible. It's going to take a little longer still for that snow to build into Rice Lake, but it should happen by 7 or 8. It will take until midnight or so for it to build into Duluth and the North Shore, and by that point, the main energy from this system will be far enough east that snowfall rates will be dropping off. And I think, again, by tomorrow morning, by sunrise or so, most of the accumulating snow will be done with just a couple of flurries and snow showers left over. I haven't changed the snowfall forecast since what I put on the air earlier this morning. Still expecting the heaviest snow to be in this purple area from Wilmer to Morris to just west of St. Cloud up toward Bemidji. That's where 8 to 13 inches of snow are possible. The blue area, including the Brainerd Lakes area, to the North Metro to probably even downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul will be in the 6 to 10 inch amounts, with those numbers dropping off as you head farther south and east. In fact, I think the South and East Metro will only get 3 to 6 inches of snow. Same thing up here in Duluth and the North Shore. That is a change from yesterday at this time. And then 1 to 3 inch total. Not a big storm for Rochester and along much of I-90. Again, probably mostly owing to that mixing and a period of some rainfall. We'll talk about the winds now. Again, right now, this afternoon, we can see, as we show this forecast, winds will gust 20 to 30, maybe 40 miles an hour. What will happen is that storm gets a little closer during the evening hours and early overnight. The winds will drop off quite a bit. And then watch what happens as we go through the late overnight into tomorrow morning. This is 6 o'clock. The winds pick right back up, this time from the northwest. And this is when blowing snow will be a bigger concern from west of the Twin Cities to northwest of the Twin Cities, with just some really kind of nuisance gusts here in the metro area as we head through the day. Tomorrow's temperatures will be cooler than today. Today we should top out in the Twin Cities around 36 or 37, but tomorrow it's going to be more like 31. However, with sunshine developing from west to east during the afternoon, even with temperatures a little below freezing, we will likely have some melting, at least in the sunshine. So that will help with some of the cleanup efforts. But again, the wind will put some of that snow, drift some of that snow right back over areas that have already been cleared. We'll talk about the extended forecast in a moment. But first, I want to open up the microphone to our friend Chloe, who's at our assignment desk monitoring your questions. Chloe, do we have any questions that I can answer?
A few questions.
Okay.
First, people are just kind of wondering in the southeast if they're expected to see more sleet or snow, and if so, what time will that sleet freeze at all, and if so, what time?
So the changeover in southeastern Minnesota will probably also happen within an hour to 2, maybe 3 of that precipitation breaking out. In that scenario, I'm not as concerned because of the time of day it will be coming in about freezing rain. Most of the freezing rain problems that we had in southwestern Minnesota were mostly due to the fact that it was early in the day and we hadn't warmed up all that much yet. In terms of getting a glaze of ice on the roads in southeastern Minnesota, I think that's not as likely, because by the time the moisture reaches you, it's going to be coming in with temperatures more like the mid-30s, and that would tend to favor sleet or even rain as opposed to freezing rain. And again, the timing on that, when it should move in, will be closer to about 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. That's when it should start.
A few more of our viewers just in the western Wisconsin area are also wondering what western Wisconsin will look like in terms of snow totals.
Well, I'll back it up and we'll show you. There we go. You can see that western Wisconsin will be ranging anywhere from 6 to 10 inches generally along and north of I-94, and then more like 3 to 6 inches south of I-94. And if you go even farther south, like down toward La Crosse and Eau Claire, it's going to be more like 1 to 3 inches of snow. So this snowfall distribution is complete opposite of what we had from 2 weeks ago, where areas north and west had less snowfall but more blowing snow. This time it's areas south and east that will have less snowfall. Anything else?
No, that's all we have so far for questions.
All right, so thank you, and thank you for submitting your questions. Let's jump ahead to the 7-day, because I do want to point out that this will be overall a pretty active week of weather. Tonight, don't forget to set those clocks ahead 1 hour. In addition to all the weather we have coming in, we also have daylight saving time, and it's also not a bad idea if you have a carbon monoxide and smoke detectors to check and change those batteries. By tomorrow afternoon, sun will develop. Then a bright sunny day Monday. Again, another situation where we will definitely have some icy patches in the morning because we'll drop down into the teens. But during the day, I think we'll see melting in the sun, even though highs will be below freezing. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will warm up significantly. In fact, showers of rain are expected, and a good soaking rain coming in on Wednesday. During this stretch, many of us will get at least an inch of rain, and that combined with temperatures in the 40s will be adding to our river and stream flows. So expect to see some minor nuisance type flooding develop, especially on smaller rivers and streams as we head from Tuesday into Wednesday. And a tip here, if you are if you live on a street where you've got storm drains that are clogged with snow right now, you might want to go out and clear those of that snow, because that will help prevent urban flooding of low-lying areas and ponding of water on the roadways as we get that melting and the rain combined for Tuesday into Wednesday. Major flooding is not likely coming up this week, but we will start to see those rivers rise as we head through this week and certainly into next week. I'm going to be back live on television and here on Facebook coming up at about 1 o'clock or so. It depends on when the basketball game breaks, so keep an eye on that, and we'll answer more of your questions then.